Look, let's get real here. D.C. is changing. There's new development, new people, and new money coming in. But people are also being pushed out. A study from the National Community Reinvestment Coalition found that there were more than 20,000 black people being displaced from the district within a 13-year period. That's a storyline being felt in communities all over the city. But we're going to take a look at it through the lens of H Street.
Betty Hart is my name. I've been here for 35 years, and the name of my business is With These Hands Hair Gallery.
Betty Hart opened her hair salon at H and 6th Streets in the 80s.
They call me Mrs. Hart. Say, hello, Miss Icon. I said, my name is Mrs. Hart.
By the time she got here, the area had already seen a lot of history. In the early to mid-1900s, the H Street corridor was booming with entertainment venues, dining, and shopping. It became a majority African-American community filled with black-owned businesses. Then came 1968.
No individual can live alone.
It was the height of the civil rights movement. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, and H Street suffered a major blow. Emotional protesters burned buildings, businesses were looted, and the area was left blighted for decades.
35 years you've been in business here. What was the neighborhood like when you first moved in?
Oh, it was rough, baby. It was rough.
It was during the crack epidemic, and D.C. was a city under siege.
It was drugs on every corner. They were shooting and everything.
The H Street corridor went 30 years without investment until the city made a big push in the early 2000s to revitalize the area. Since then, H Street has gained hundreds of new businesses, a brand new trolley car system, and a lot of modern condos and office buildings. But it has also lost a lot of its original mom and pop shops.
There was a lot of black-owned businesses. But now, if I make no mistake, it's not but 4 black hair salons out here now.
I used to get my hair done just up the street.
Ibijoke Akimbawali is a D.C. native and is a director at the National Community Reinvestment Coalition, or NCRC.
H Street corridor is really the first place that I recognized gentrification was happening within the city. You saw a lot of black families living and working in this neighborhood. I'll say today it's a little different, as you can tell.
But Akimbawali says that's not just here on H Street. There are many parts of the city that have changed. NCRC released a study this year that found the district had the most intense level of gentrification when compared to other cities across the country.
Some 53% of residents had actually been displaced.
Akimbawali explained displacement can typically happen 2 ways. One, when a person cannot afford to live in their homes because of rising bills or property taxes. Or secondly, when residents are forced out because of things like evictions, their leases aren't renewed, or when landlords put pressure on people to move through tactics such as not making repairs, thus making homes uninhabitable, or through extreme rent increases.
When we talk about displacement, who are we talking about? Who is being most affected by this?
Well, I think we'd be remiss in excluding the district's nickname, and that's Chocolate City. And I will say right now, the city's not so chocolate.
The latest data from the city indicates black people now make up less than half of the population. According to census data, in 1980, the gross median cost to rent in D.C. was $443. Today, if you wanted to rent a 1-bedroom apartment on H Street, it'll cost you anywhere between $2,000 and more than $3,000. That's according to apartments.com.
You see traditionally African-American communities becoming well integrated with a number of white residents moving in.
They came here the other day and said that they came here to buy my place. So I said, well, wait a minute. Man did not put me here. God put me here. And when God get ready for me to move, then I'll move. Until then, I'm standing on God's promises.
Because while things may look different around her, Mrs. Hart says H Street is still home.
Why is it so important for you to stay?
Well, this is my shop. I bought the building and paid cash for it.
Reporting in the H Street corridor in Northeast D.C., Michael Quander, WUSA 9.